Holy shit, we didn't have any sound there for a hot minute, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, we're going to fucking fix all that stuff. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the motherfucking shit show. That is A5 Roofing. This is how cool we are around here. We have powered Roofing Underground with no audio for the last minute and a half, so I do apologize about that. We will get right back to it, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dave, your host here at Roofing Underground, the Roof Poppy, your favorite roofer's favorite roofer, and MF CEO here at Roofing Underground and at A5 Roofing. I have a phenomenal guest for you today, ladies and gentlemen. We have the man that has single-handedly become a household name in fucking roofing. My man, the world's greatest roofer, TJ McCormack, in the motherfucking building. TJ, what
What's
is
up,
up, my
man?
guy? Dude, I'm
David,
so stoked. I'm so stoked to have you here. I'm glad I pulled out of that slow spiral there for a second, man. But fucking wow, bro. Thanks for being on the show.
man, I'm so excited. You know what? Wow, thank you for letting me be on your show. I love watching your show. One of the shows that I watch out there. Not many, but yours one of them. And
I
Roof
appreciate that.
Poppy has been around for more than World's Greatest Roofer has been around. So
I had a one time something popped up on my Facebook feed and I don't remember what it was. And I think it was you were celebrating the birthday of the world's greatest roofer or something like
yeah.
that. And I was like, oh shit, I beat this guy by like 6 months. you know,
I'm
I
older than
fucking
him.
did it. I did it, right? A win is a win, right? So there's not when you're doing social media
Yeah.
stuff, everything Solomon said, everything, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything's been
Right.
done once before. It is really hard to try and get an original idea, especially in the age of
Yeah.
lightning exchanged information, man.
Right.
So I fucking a win is a win, right? I saw a dude, he trademarked hashtag 210 roofer.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, fuck, you know, like
That's a lot.
how do you think that fast? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? To go out and do some of these things and win like that, dude. So a win's a win. So you've
Yeah.
got the world's greatest roofer, man. You
Yeah.
have been the world's greatest roofer.
Yeah.
Where,
So
bro? Like, how does that happen?
over the years, I started in the industry back in 2015, and I did my time from both the insurance side of the world of the first ladder assists or managed repair programs,
Okay.
training roofers how to do proper inspections and getting roofs bought.
Yeah.
To where I was tired of training 21-year-olds to make more money than I was making working in a company. And so I went out on my own, and I stormed several years. I'm a storm chaser by heart. I love every bit of the chase of the hail and the wind and hurricanes and tornadoes. Of course, that hurts other people, but as a roofer, that's what made my bread and butter.
Yeah.
And COVID was really hard on me personally, as well as most roofers out there, because we weren't able to sell, and we weren't able to go do our own thing like we normally would do, either door knock or meet people in public, and it just wasn't happening. And so
Oh,
I had an idea, sitting there. I had COVID, and I literally had an idea. Like, I'm watching TikTok, and there were nobody on TikTok at all selling anything or promoting anything positive about our industry. And at that moment, I had this light bulb come on inside of me, and I was like, I'm going after it. So
you know what's weird, dude? So you got into in I stepped on my first roof. I knocked my first door in probably like the end of February, early March in 2020.
okay,
And I remember probably my second week in knocking doors, somebody was like, "Hey, bro, why are you knocking on my door?" And I was like, "Well,
yeah,
because door to door sales, right? It is what it is, and I'm here to do a roof inspection and blah blah blah." And he's like, "No, man, you're not worried about the virus." And I'm like, "What virus?" I had no
yeah,
idea what he was talking, none, zero idea what he was talking about. And this dude told me about the coronavirus for the first time,
yeah.
and I instantly regretted getting in door to door sales.
Oh gosh,
Right, when I say, like, within a matter of hours, I was like, "I'm fucked. This is
yeah,
fucked." Like, I just got into this 2 weeks ago. I've got 0 money in the bank and
yeah,
2 kids to feed, and I am absolutely screwed, right?
yeah,
And then I realized that everybody was fucking home.
yeah.
Everybody was home. Everyone was working for home. It didn't matter where you go or what time you knocked. Somebody was at that fucking door. And I was like, all right, let's go. Let's
Right.
do this. Right. Like I got really excited for it. But so COVID for you forced you to develop a different way of thinking, and you went to
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yep. I went to TikTok. Yeah.
From
I
there,
had
everybody
to
else knows the story. You destroyed TikTok.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I love TikTok. I think that when my kid, one of those problems of having children and then COVID at that time is that my child had to sit on a computer screen for 5 hours a day while he was in kindergarten in 2020, and trying to teach a child their kindergarten on a screen was absolutely horrible. But then also with me having to be home while he was home, it gave me all of that time to find videos to make or engage with people in a way that was authentic and then also point of view style. And then and like you said, man, TikTok took off, bro. It was I love everything about the love that I got in the very beginning. But man, there's nothing like it. It's like gambling, or for some people, like doing drugs. The high that you get from the amount of people that depend on you.
Wow.
And that just has grown. I'll be at 300,000 followers on TikTok probably tomorrow, and
Wow.
it'll be a milestone that I've been waiting for a long time.
So what makes it so much easier? Because I have a buddy of mine,
Yeah.
and he sent me a picture, a snapshot of his TikTok feed, and he was wearing one of our company like dry fit, the UV protection shirts, one of ours with the light blue logo on it, and he's like circled the video, had 775,000 likes, and I was like, "What? You fucking just put it up last week."
Right.
It takes me 7 years to get that many likes on Facebook, dude. So how is it so much easier to do this shit on TikTok? What makes it so much easier?
So the problem with social media has always there's a problem. There's people out there that believe social media is supposed to work a certain way, right? We've
Okay.
always been led to believe that Facebook is the way that we do things. Our 5,000 potential followers are the only 5,000 followers or friends that we can have. So with TikTok, all of the content is being shown to a For You style page or a feed that's outside of your following or your friends list. So anybody that's like-minded like myself, or if I created a video, it's potentially going to be seen by those people that like or search for those types of things. For example, like if I search for construction, I'm going to get shown construction videos more often. So my video is probably going to get shown to other people more often, where the people who are still stuck in back in the old days, they're like, oh, we should only be making videos for these 5,000 people. I'm like, no, we should be making videos for 1 million people and prepare for that before breakfast.
So what you're saying effectively is that Facebook takes your likes and interests and shows you stuff from your friends based on those likes and interests, but TikTok don't give a fuck who you're friends with. TikTok cares about what are your likes and interests and how can we show that from people that aren't your friends.
Right.
Exactly. So you get so my Facebook, if I create a post, it may only show it to the 5,000 people that are following my page, my 5,000 followers. But for instance, if I post a Facebook reel, a reel will be shown to people even outside of my followers simply because it's inside that feed. But TikTok now on its main dashboard, its main, let's call it its main pillar is that format of content, and it's just cranking it out to everybody it can think of.
Yeah, and you know what? That's not just TikTok now. All of the platforms are doing the exact same thing as TikTok, except the YouTube Shorts, the Facebook Reels, the Instagram Reels. For me and Roofer, it's been just over a month. I started doing YouTube for Roofer, and we've been posting long form content for a real long time. And it's great content. There's master classes. There's all sorts of things on our Roofer YouTube. but it was never getting more. I think that we had like 700 followers when I started just over a month ago. And today we just reached 5,200. So 5,200 in 1 month. And that's just from creating shorts. That's just from doing shorts.
Wow.
Yeah. So we gained almost 5,000 followers in a month, just doing exactly what the TikTok and the Instagram and the Facebook want you to do.
So I'm sure if I asked my next question, you wouldn't be called the world's greatest roofer. You'd be called the world's richest roofer, right? My next question is, how do you get those 330,000 followers from one platform to migrate to Facebook and follow you there? How do you duplicate those followers?
Yeah, so the problem that I face when I try to consider how to transfer that group of people, and I've thought about it, right? Austin Blumquist has slowly started to go that way, and a couple of other, like Raymond Wendell Little. It's when you ask on TikTok for somebody to go follow you somewhere else, it's a little bit different. The algorithm suppresses your content because you're asking people to go away from a platform. But the two that are tied to TikTok are YouTube and Instagram, right? So I've been more successful at getting people to come over to my Instagram account than I have been with getting them to come over to my Facebook account. But the problem is when I was doing that, Facebook didn't have Facebook Reels yet. So it was no point for me to try to bring over my following to my feed that they would only be watching my regular day-to-day.
So you have now this unique opportunity to create much more eyes on your content.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are probably asking me, like, Dave, if I could put 300,000 people in front of my video about fucking drip edge, right?
Yeah.
I might be able to educate some homeowners. And I get the exact same or the exact opposite, right? My viewers are not typically my homeowners. You know what I mean? Like, I have people, different types of people that consume my content is not for my buyers. That content is on a specific page. This content here is for more business owners and salespeople and people inside of, sales or development or in the roofing space or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Some of my customers have called me and said, hey, listen, I saw your personal Facebook and we're going to do business with you because you're cool, right? Or we align with you. I'd probably scare some people off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But those people are your people. And what I say about it is that my following is my following and your following is your following. Those people follow me because they like me, and they're going to follow you because they like your niche or whatever it is that you like. Like the analogy that I like to use is like, if right now in my life at this moment in time, I like white wine, and in 6 months from now, I start fading off and I don't like white wine anymore. Now I like red wine. So now all of those people that like white wine, those are my old friends. Now my new friends are all the red wine. And so you have to just keep growing with yourself in time as to what's trending in your own current life. And those people will continue to grow with you, or you'll continue to grow your following, or your algorithm will grow it for you to where you need it to be. And that's scary to think about.
Yeah. So let me ask you like, I'd be honest with you. Okay. I don't do the same shit that almost everybody does when we talk about the same show and the same conversation stuff. I kind of want to know, like, at what point did you realize, hey, listen, I can create a lot of eyes and gather a lot of attention, and I can monetize that to get me closer to my goal, which is either income or impact or whatever the fuck your goal was. Where did you figure out, like, hey, listen, there's a third dimension to this shit, and I could probably use this to capitalize? Like, when did that click?
Being in your own head as a social media influencer is real, right? Because you're always thinking about what's next, or what's my next viral video going to be, or what level of leadership or influence will I have next, or what part of my life. I started growing very rapidly at about 5 months of constantly creating content daily, between 12 and 20 hours a day. And it was a full-time plus overtime job. And then I started asking people, I'm like, all right, I'm at 85, 90,000 followers. When am I going to start making money? And so people started saying to me, okay, sorry, my dog's coming downstairs. About 100,000 followers, you should be able to capitalize. Well, when I got to 100,000 followers, I was able to capitalize immediately. Like TikTok was able to provide me brands right now that were looking for a micro influencer to make or create content for them based off of products or things that they sold. Now,
Right.
what I will say is that that's a whole nother topic of discussion of talking about whether or not you're being authentic to a brand or loyal to a real brand, or is it just the money?
Yeah.
But really, you learn a lot about yourself when people start wanting to throw money at you because of what they think that you can do for them.
Sure.
But a lot of times people don't know what they want from you or how they want it from you, and they're just throwing money at something in hopes that it'll work for them.
Do you feel like that kind of ruins not so like I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I couldn't take a single fucking sponsor on this show if I wanted to, right? Because
Right.
I want to have the ability to talk about the things that I want to talk about, and the only person that can shut me down is fucking Zuckerberg, right? Like the Zuckerberg and the three-letter agencies that we have here, right? These are the only people that can shut my podcast off.
Yeah.
And I like that, because
Yeah.
I'm not beholden to anybody, and I can ask fucking questions that I want to, and we can talk about whatever it is we want to talk about.
Yep.
So I've never had to worry about that. I have a friend, and you know Ty Backer very well. I asked Ty, what was it like when you got the big sponsors, and he said, "Oh, Bubba, they'll make a phone call." And they'll
Yeah.
say, "Hey, listen, we don't know if that necessarily needs to be the video that stays up on YouTube, right?" They'll let their feelings be known. But when you said you have to be careful about what I heard you say was you
Yeah.
got to be careful about who you take money from,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
you'll compromise your core values when people start dangling those commas and zeros in front of your face.
Exactly.
My question to you is, does that shit ruin more people than we think? Like,
Yes.
is that a really big problem with people? I've heard somebody say in Apex, your character will get you, your skills will get you into rooms your character cannot keep you in.
Yes, exactly. Your skills will, and it can be detrimental to your career at the same time, being in the wrong room at the right time, because you could potentially hurt yourself siding with the devil, if it's a spur of the moment. Like I got to make a decision right now, and if you make that decision and it's the wrong decision, it could affect you
Well,
forever, because the social media is not for the slight of heart. People will
no.
try to take you down, or not. I mean, David, let's just be honest. People don't like you at times. They don't like me at times, right? When somebody's on the come up, they want to take the person on the come up down because they think that somebody else is winning more than they are. So
I could see that. Yeah.
but also thinking in small mindsets. You have to know your real core values, and you have to be able to say no. But also, if you do say yes, you have to be prepared for the consequences or the return, which is great sometimes. But just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons.
I had a venue send me an invitation to come be a speaker at one of their events this year, right?
Yeah.
And how I was invited, I had this 3/4 naked woman sending me a video, right, with damn near half her tits hanging out,
Right.
inviting me to come to this city, to come meet these people, and to come, get this and to get this, and we would also like for you to be a speaker at our event, right? In exchange, here's what we need, and I just, first of all, I started watching this and it was like, "Hey, Dave, this is da da da." First thing my wife did was like, "Who the fuck is that?" Right. And I
Right.
was like, "I don't know. Swear to God, I don't know. We're about to find out together. Okay.
Sure.
Like, we're going to find out together. Look, I turned the volume all the way up. You're going to find out at the same time I am." So I ended up turning this event down, right? Because I almost felt like,
Yeah.
okay, so not all dudes in roofing are just going to be, if you can dangle some tits in our face, we'll come talk about your program. Like,
Right.
I don't care how nice the titties are. That's not what I'm here for. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it didn't do nothing for me. But I also, the venue, this I had to reach out to some mentors and ask, hey, do you take an opportunity if the organization doesn't necessarily align with your core values? And I got a mixed reaction.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people say, hey, listen, one person in the audience may need to hear what you have to say. And then I had a lot of people be like, once you sacrifice who you are, you're done. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's the one that I went with. I was like, nope, can't do it. Sorry about that. You know.
It's kind of like, a lot of people know me as, I stay to myself a lot. Right. And a lot of times I'm trying to figure out whether or not I want to have a relationship or talk to you, or, not being rude about the way I'm saying this right now, but there are some people out there that will just try to use you for their own influence or to try to grow themselves, and they'll do it disrespectfully. And then sometimes you get caught up in that because you might have hung out with the wrong person, or your mom said, "Don't hang out with the wrong crowd," right?
Yeah.
So here we are. But no, going back, I was recently reading about whether or not influencers should be taking money from companies that they don't feel that they're loyal to their brand. But a lot of people are out there being salespeople that don't love what they sell. They're just selling it because they need the money,
Or the company they're selling it for.
or the company they're selling it for. Right? They're
Yeah.
just looking for $1 to get by. Like a lot of us are that way. A lot of salespeople are just trying to get to that next check.
So you think, is that why we see like influencers sometimes jumping from like company to company or thing to thing? Like we see that in roofing sales too, right? These motherfuckers out here that go company to company, they know exactly who they are, right? And they're always chasing the better comp plan or the better culture, and they don't understand that there's something foundationally broken within them. Probably they're probably the lowest common denominator in the equation. But I feel, and now I don't think of myself as an influencer because nobody's ever tried to pay me to show up at their party. Right. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not an influencer.
But you also didn't take the money. So
well, I didn't take the money, right? And I didn't show up either.
But by the way, we didn't pay David to be at our event, so just so you know.
I mean, I'm even paying for my own gas, so like it is what it is. But we had a conversation about the purpose and what was going on in Houston and what we were going to do with Rise Up, and that intrigued me, and that's what got me in, because you didn't listen. You came, and not a lot of people know this, so we're going to have a candid conversation here. You came to me out of the public eye and you said, hey, listen, this is what I'm trying to do and this is the purpose behind it. And I'm not talking to a whole lot of people, but there's certain people that I am talking to. It's free. It's not going to pay you anything. There's no fucking strings attached. And I really respected the way that you were. It wasn't, let me say this, TJ, and I'm probably going to piss some people off here, and this is probably going to ruin a lot of relationships. I didn't know Ben Manchaca had so many fucking friends until after he passed. Right. And I've got the DM, the last message that I sent to him after we saw him in Orlando. One of the last conversations that I had with him is I told him we were talking about his physical fitness. And he had asked me in Orlando, like, dude, how do you stay so fit? And I was telling him, and him and I were talking about his increased cardio health and how well he was doing. And I told him, I love you enough to tell you the fucking truth. You know what I mean? And I barely knew the guy. We weren't best friends. Right. But then all of a sudden, after he passed, everybody's a fucking Ben Manchaca fan. And I'm like, y'all didn't have him on your show when he was alive. You know what I mean? But I saw that happen with him. And I was like, oh God, there are a lot of people that really will take your picture and just fucking and use it. You know what I mean? And use it. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring up Ben like that.
But there's people that are still alive that will do that to live people as well. But it's a lot of people will say, oh, it's okay, right? And I say it's okay too. But if we're going to talk about being real and being authentic and being yourself, if you're hanging around with those people, that's cool. And of course, make sure that if you're going to pay somebody to influence for your brand, they're doing it for the right reasons because they believe in your brand, they believe in your mission, right? And it's something that they can put everything behind, and not just some fly-by-night company or fly-by-night product. But then also just be true to yourself, right? And it's not about the money.
What do you think? What do you think about these companies that make shitty? I mean, I'm not gonna get too far into the Bud Light debacle and stuff, but when companies just make bad fucking PR moves, you know what I mean? When they just do some really dumb shit and everybody tries to scramble for their moral high ground or their soapbox or whatever it is they're clinging to, what is that? What does that do for you as an influencer? You may be, let's say that you're part of, I'm not gonna lie, if I was an Anheuser-Busch athlete, if I was a sponsored fucking baseball player or a major league team or some shit, and Bud Light just boom ruined my sales at all my stadiums across, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed.
I was actually going through that. That's one of the things that I'm going to talk about at Rise is the potential of the harm that you can do. Along with the good, there's harm that you can do to your brand by getting involved with the wrong initiatives, or getting behind a political stance or something like that. Because the second that you side with one or the other, you're the bad guy from one side or the other. And then you're known as that person forever, because you're never going to live down that potential meme or video that you posted siding with the wrong side or the potential wrong side.
Yeah, that's the one that everybody likes. When you make a fucking mistake or there's like a miscalculation or something like that, everybody loves to throw that shit in your face. You know what I mean? Or they love to tell you where you're doing wrong, and they're like, "Oh, dude, I couldn't believe you could do this." Da 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 da. This is the same shit coming from the same motherfucker that's so afraid of being told he's wrong that he never put his opinion in front of the public square in the first fucking place. But they have the audacity to be the first people to tell you man, that was why would you do that? Or why would you even do it? Because I don't give a fuck, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't care, and I've got a message to share, and somebody needs to hear it. I'm going to say it whether or not, the whether or not somebody likes it. I think that's a big problem. A lot of people spend too much time, especially in entrepreneurship or in business, worried about how other people, like you said, don't take this the wrong way. You said you're always thinking about what's my next viral video and what's not. The weird thing is I don't ever think about that shit, TJ, right? I just share what's on my fucking mind. And sometimes people like it, and sometimes people are like, ooh, this sucks. And I try not to post the shit that people think sucks, which is usually family drama, how annoying my ex-baby mama is, right? Or like something that going on in my neighborhood or something.
I try to be funny. Like, Karina and I, we try to make our own content together. We love to make content together. Karina's got 20,000 of her own followers. But when I got to 200,000 followers, I got really butthurt one day, right? I remember it like it's like I'm that kind of guy. Like I take things to heart when people say things to me or say things that I take it to heart. So I got 200,000 followers. This guy was harassing me on my videos. It was somebody that had never, ever known me, talked to me, never seen one of my videos before in his life. And he happened to just come up on one of my videos, and he felt like being a troll that day. And that day I realized that I had to stop fucking caring about what other people thought. Right. And that I was true to myself about that. And still to this day, Karina will remind me when I'm like, and she'll see me like trying to get butthurt over something. And she's like, you remember what you said is that you shouldn't, worry about what other people say. And so, and I appreciate her for that. But
I had a conversation with I don't even fucking remember. I want to say it was my wife, because she usually says some really insightful shit like this. But she was telling me to take things into consideration, right? Like the KPIs, the numbers, the percentages, the margins. And I look at the amount of people that follow me, and I look at the amount of people that usually comment like, Dave, you're fucking dumb, right? And it's 0.00003% of my followers any fucking ways. And so you have to learn to not, I think in this avenue, number one, yes, grow thick skin, right? Like, because people are going to have a problem with some shit you say or something you do, or they're going to have something negative to say about you. But it really don't fucking matter.
It
You know,
doesn't.
it really doesn't matter, because number one, those people are not the people that were intended for that content anyways.
Yep.
And number two, they're probably too narrow-minded, or too, what's the phrase we use a lot, scarcity minded, right?
Yeah, scarcity mindset.
Too great of a scarcity mindset to even do anything with the fucking information that they would be given in the first place.
You know
right?
what? Can I drop some gold nuggets right now and just go to town educating?
Oh, please, by all means.
Because we're talking about, you know, like the scarcity mindset, and let's talk about the scarcity mindset in content creation, because there's some people out there that will disagree with everything that I say, or anything that I might disagree with everything that they say, but we're all headed for the right direction. The right direction is that if you're a roofing company right now in 2023 and you're not on video, you're paying way too much for marketing before I even know how much you're spending. Because if you were able to go out every single day that you're inspecting a house, you're putting a new roof on a house, you're doing a repair, all of those things are reputable parts of your trade that people want to see right now. There are possibly some of you out there right now that will go out and inspect 5 to 8 houses today and not take one video. You could upload one 30-second video per house that you're on that takes less than 5 minutes to edit, and that potentially could be seen by millions by the time you're done with your day. Now you've got 8 more tomorrow, because now those millions of people, or those people that did see you, potentially not millions, right? Because let's be honest, because people have to build that. But if you, even a couple hundred people a day, or even a couple thousand people a day are seeing your post, they're going to reach out to you. Now that works for brand identity, that works for your product that you're selling, that works for your salesmen, it works for anybody that's in your marketing team. All of those people can go out and do that right now, and they can have eyes on that content before the end of the day from your local area. And all you have to do, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, you know, what drives me nuts about all that is I think that everybody. So, like, we have the E3 method, the you know, this method, they fucking, you know, I can't count on one hand the amount of marketing experts I know that all say the same thing: create content, little videos, longer videos, to do a walking around and holding it up, and, you know, use this app and record talking about drip edge and just normal shit, and post these things, because number one, it's great for the algorithm. Number two, it gives your ads something to relate to on your page. It's a conversion tool. Number three, you have recyclable content all the time,
every week.
But we're still having the same conversation, TJ, because people just don't film the fucking content. So if that's the problem, how do we fix that?
Well, think about it like this. Back in 2019, 2020, I was using a major, let's just call it a major CRM, right?
Yeah.
And whenever we would go out and we would do inspections, our owners or whatever, our sales managers would be like, we need you to get all of the pictures of this inspection, or we can't write a supplement, right? It's the same concept of getting the salesperson or the person out on the job site, getting the things that we're requiring of them. Like, for example, if you're on a sub crew right now and you're on my sub crew, you're getting a contract before I send you out to that job that tells you everything I expect on that on that day of build. Now, one of those things that I'm also going to say is I want a video of pre, during, and post build showing me these things from the crew. And even if it's not from the crew, it's the project manager on the job site, because they're having to upload those pictures either in company cam or into their CRM that they're using right now. So why not take those same videos that you're already taking from your builds of the 1 minute showing the job site and then recreating it? So it's already a part of your process. It's just driving home the point of making sure that people are following your process.
Do you do this in company cam? Can you create a checklist in company? Do you use company cam, TJ?
I have used Company Cam. I don't use it currently, but we are a partner at Roofer of Company Cam. If I was out doing inspection right now, I'd be using Company Cam.
You should. I know that a lot of companies can create checklists that Company Cam can let people use, and you should create a checklist for social media content for
Right.
Company Cam.
That'd
And then
be great.
I only want a $500 finder fee for coming up with
hey,
that idea. That's
you know
it.
what? That's fine as long as you wear a Roofer shirt.
I fucking got you, bro. I'm there, dude. I'll even teach it. Hey,
Yeah.
my name's David here with the
Yeah.
world's greatest roofer. That's him. You know,
Yeah. But
dude,
you know,
I'm about that.
100 let's just say this, 99.9% of all of us in the roofing industry don't want to make content, or they don't like the social media portion of it, or maybe they just don't know how to do it. But if you have a marketer, you know, I say this, marketers that are 18, 19, and 20 years old right now will go out and climb a roof, and you can pay them $20 an hour or less to go do that, and they're going to do it with and they're going to love it. And you can get them to go do it right now. Sorry, David cut out there. So I'm on the host here. So David, are you there? So David's not there. So yeah, he's coming back there. He's all right. You're back. But no, well, you know, let's just talk about this. But we're coming to town, Fort Lauderdale next Wednesday. We will be in Fort Lauderdale, and we'll have Elizabeth Calzadilla, Corey Combs. We're gonna have River Tunnel from Shield Tech Roofing, Jamie Yoshida, Chris Scoville from Blue Pages Pro, myself, Matt Radford will be there, Pete McKendrick, Bob Marsh, the lead speaker there. And then the next day, I'm going to be teaching at Business 411's event with Elizabeth and her crew. I hear it's a white glove affair, so it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And then Friday next week, we're going to be in Houston the 19th. So if you guys are out in the Houston market or the Fort Lauderdale area, we'd love to have you. The only thing that you need to do is go to roofer.com, ROOFR.com/rise. Get your tickets. We got a $25 fee. The reason that we put a $25 fee on it is because we want to buy people lunch. So that way we know that you're not going to skip out on lunch. But
you know how hard it is to be 230 pounds and run up and down the fucking stairs. So this camera, we just upgraded our equipment over here, and we've got this $700 fucking camera that apparently gets hot.
Oh yeah.
Who the fuck makes it a piece of an equipment that's $700 and doesn't put a fan in this shit?
Oh man, I have a $4,000 camera on the other side of that light right there, and I tell you, man, the things that I've learned about cameras after getting into that thing, it's been incredible. But you know,
fuck podcasting. This stuff is.
At least I held it down for you while we were.
I fucking love that you did that. I came back upstairs and I heard that you talking, and I'm like, my man knows exactly what to do right now.
Oh, you know what? It's good. It's happened before, man. But hey, how about this? Let me ask you a couple questions. How are you finding sales and things going on right now? I mean, San Antonio's had a hailstorm recently, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are out there crushing it. I see your pictures and your posts. Is there anything about society that's holding people back from paying their deductibles right now?
So the one thing that we're coming up to right now, and I think it's probably one of the biggest, where we're knocking actively, that's in a storm path, there is a good sense of urgency still, right? So when we have the sense of urgency, we can show that there's a need. We can help people understand it by explaining what we found on our inspection process. And we provide these service. We kind of fulfill the requirements for them to move forward, which is, price, product, and person. We try to make sure that we're maintaining good, solid, positive equity in those three pillars.
Right.
And we don't usually have objections to the deductibles. Now, Texas has 1% or 2% deductibles is the most common, where other states have, a couple $100s and stuff. So a $1.1 million home in Texas has a big fucking deductible.
Sure.
Right. Big deductible. So those houses, people aren't worried about paying their $10,000 deductibles,
Yeah.
right? They're really not. When you get to homes that are in the RCV is, 18 to $25,000,
Yeah.
that is usually indicative of a smaller square footage, which usually means it's a 2-story smaller footprint, or it's a smaller home.
Yeah.
When we have that situation, we typically see that more people are afraid to finance right now,
Okay.
as opposed to paying their $2,000 deductible, because 2 grand is going to cost you 2 grand no matter what. But
Right.
2 grand at today's interest rates,
Yeah.
right, may cost you a little more. And so that's one thing that I've seen where the retail market is a little hesitant because of the lending rates.
Yeah.
Right. And that is all a result of, politics and things like that we don't control. The other thing that I've seen is that this is just in Texas, but I noticed that when the cost of gasoline and oil went up,
Yeah.
and we had that 9-month rise in shingles
at the beginning of the presidency.
at the beginning of the presidency, for 9 months, shingles were expensive as shit. And my homeowners were like, well, why'd the price go up so much in 30 days?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if you know this or not, lady, but this shit made with oil.
Yeah.
So you have to explain that sometimes to people. But I feel like we do such, and I'm going to brag a little bit, I feel like we do such a good job at training and teaching our sales reps on how to avoid problems with the deductible objection way before it ever comes up, by focusing on the price, the product, and the person. That the deductible is not usually what when I'm talking to a customer, there's usually zero problem about them paying a deductible.
Sure.
Well, some of these other roofers come up a week after me, and then all of a sudden my homeowner's like, hey, this person said they were going to eat my deductible, and they said that they could do it, and And I'm like, well, you got a $12,000 roof and a $3,000 deductible, lady.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that's 25% off the top. I'm not taking that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like crazy as hell. And so then sometimes having to reel a customer back from that experience, I found it's easier to cut the line and let them go.
That's so true. And in that Texas is where I started to door knock myself and grind my teeth in Plano.
Nice.
But back in those days, even still, there would be I'm not going to say the roofing company because they're still in existence, but they would come right behind us and they would try to take our signs and they would waive a deductible after we had just gotten a contingency saying you're paying your deductible. And then as soon as we got that contingency sign, waiting on estimate or waiting on insurance proceeds, they would come in and swoop and take it. And those guys, I don't think that we're ever going to get rid of those people, or they're going to find a way around it somehow.
No, I don't. I think unfortunately you're not going to get rid of shitty salespeople, right?
Sure.
Because that's really what it is. If you have to waive a deductible and eat your own profit margin to get somebody to do business with you, they don't really want to do business with you. It's convenient at that point. And so that's not a salesperson. I tell people that all the time. When I see certain people, they have to go eat a deductible or throw in $4,000 of free gutters or some shit like that, I call them donation stations. Like they're not salespeople, and that's definitely not my competition. That's another thing that I like when they say like, oh, well, your competitor said, lady, we ain't in the same fucking field,
Right.
My competitors don't do that,
So, what who's somebody that you look up to? Nobody. I don't think I've ever heard you say that before.
in roofing, or like in general,
life, man. In general.
Okay. Let's see. So in the roofing industry, there are a couple of people that I have my eye on and I intentionally watch and interact with. And one of them is Kurt Lennington.
Oh yeah.
Kurt Lennington, I've had one conversation with him. It was super awkward. I was trying really hard not to fanboy out, right? Not because I'm like, oh, Kurt Lennington, you drive a Bugatti. I'm not even a car guy. I couldn't tell you the first thing about that Bugatti, right? I don't know another roofing contractor on earth with one though. So that's like, okay, fucking you get points. I'm listening to what you're saying now, right? I admire what the man has accomplished and how he has built his team, I can't look at a picture of somebody from that company and not believe that they believe that they're in the best fucking organization on planet Earth. And that's what I'm like, whoa, that's what inspires me, because I can, if he did what he did in 15 years or 20 years with modern technology and marketing, if I could duplicate his culture and the process, I could exponentially increase the return in a shorter amount of time. It's just simple math, right?
I met Kurt's crew. I've known Kurt a couple of years now, but I was in getting ready for the hurricane last year, right before Ian hit, and I was over on the East Coast at Coastal Claims,
Yeah.
and Kurt's crew was all there. They were sleeping inside the building during the hurricane. There was probably 15 of them. And those guys, they like when you walk up to a really great company, it, right? You could just smell it before you even get there. You see their shirts all nice, their gig line is nice, their belt is on the right way, their shoes are polished, or they're wearing nice shoes, and they're just ready to go. And these guys were waiting out a hurricane, and they're all dressed up for success, ready to go knock on commercial businesses within seconds of the storm being done. But that's the difference in a great company and a company that potentially doesn't really care about their brand.
Yeah, I see that with a couple of guys. I see that with Kurt and Tony and everything that they've built over there, and I admire the shit out of that. I also see that with Raymond, and Todd Price over at Perimeter.
Yeah.
I admire the piss out of both of those two dudes. Right.
Yeah.
And I don't tell them this, and they might see the last 5 minutes of the show and just be like, oh shit, Dave's a fan. Yeah. I
boy.
Bro. So Raymond shot me a message and was like, hey, my brother lives in Austin. He had a tree fall on his roof. Can you take care of him? And we got all of his decking replaced and everything, brand new fucking house on the outside, got it all knocked out. And I thought that was really cool that this dude referred me to take care of his family secretly. Little does he know, right? I'm over here looking at Perimeter Roofing. I'm like, damn, this is on the horizon, bro. Like that's where, and this dude is calling me saying, hey, I can count on you. And I believe I can count on you. And that meant a lot to me. But, Raymond and Todd over there at Perimeter Roofing, I'm a big in the roofing industry. Kurt Lennington, man, there are a lot of, it used to be, what's weird is it used to be like sales trainers and sales managers. Those were the people that I looked at to be like, okay, cool, I want to do what you're doing, and now it's the other roofing business owners. And I can see what you were saying earlier, the white wine changes to red wine at some point in time, and you look around and all your friends are into red wine, because now the people that I spend the most of my time talking with, they're business owners, and they're the entrepreneurs, and they're the CEOs and the C-suite executives at roofing companies now. And so, wow, man, I didn't think about that until now. You're absolutely fucking right.
Let's talk about that with Raymond and Todd. Like Raymond, I think this. I think the world of Raymond and Todd. I think Perimeter has done an amazing job in a market that was very marginalized over the years without a lot of hail, but they still made it, and they specialize. I'm not going to give out what they do well, but Raymond and Todd have gotten it down, and they're helping people. There's a difference in hiring a bunch of people to come work for you and produce sales. There's a difference when there's a leader behind it that also wants to lead your life and help you lead your life in the right direction. Because a lot of times, I'm not going to say most of the time, a lot of times somebody will go to work for a roofing company and they're just a salesperson to that owner until they're not. And instead of taking care of that salesperson, because we were talking the other day, I made a post about being high turnover, right? In our industry, almost every roofer or roofing salesperson will leave the company they're with within the first season. And then they might last to next season. I think it's less than 10% will go to the next season. So it's hard out there. And those types of leaders like Raymond and Todd, and then not just him, like when I was trying to figure out who I wanted or who who should best represent roofers out there across the country. I've got 27 of them represented on Rise. They're the people that are doing great things out there right now, but might not be getting all of the recognition that they deserve, because circles of people are being put on stages that have been friends with those other circles for years. And there's a lot of great leaders out there right now that deserve to be seen and heard right now, not 5 years from now when that other person retires. But let's go out and get fresh, new, innovative ideas from people who matter most. And those are the roofing company owners.
When I hear somebody say like overlooked or underrated,
Yeah.
right? And I think of certain people that I'm like, ooh, yeah. Like
Yeah.
I know here I'm, industry secret. I'm gonna throw something out there for a lot of people that may be listening. If y'all don't follow Heather Hitchcock in Houston right now, y'all need to, because let me tell you, if there is a woman inside of roofing that I know that, number one, is very blatant about what she stands for and where she holds the line, Heather is a phenomenal ambassador of that. And she is also a tremendous example of what grace and mercy looks like. And she is very vocal about that as well. And I think that is a very powerful thing. And I think that eventually a lot of these other brands and organizations are going to, Heather, if they do this, I told you, they're going to shoot their shot, and they're going to, absolutely try to get her on every stage that they have. But I think what they don't understand is that Heather knows how powerful her voice is, and she knows 100% what she's going to use it for,
Yeah.
and what she's not going to use it for. Because I think that Heather is one of the examples of a person that you cannot break her fucking moral compass. Like
I hope
I
to
don't
know
think
her
you
one
can.
day.
Dude, she is fucking fire. When I tell you, she's my wife's probably one of her biggest. She loves Heather Hitchcock. Jackie
Yeah.
loves Heather, and I even think my wife bought her Nikes because Heather might have a pair similar to them. But but I respect the shit out of what she's doing, and how powerful she's not only stepped into her role as a CEO of a roofing company, but how gracious she has been about sharing her story and everything to do so. And I think when people say, something in the roofing industry about, they may take advantage or they may use that. I think that
Yeah.
this is what comes to my mind, is that there are people out there that have a very powerful story and a very
Yeah.
powerful message that probably aren't going to be on the stage, right?
Right.
But absolutely deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Like 100% she's got, and maybe not, because look, I'm not going to bullshit you. Maybe she's not the best person to show you how to grow a $10 million business or how to stay in business for longer than 3 years,
Sure.
because she may not have ever crossed that benchmark.
Right.
Right. But to show you how to go from zero to where she is, she's a fucking phenomenal example.
I like I said, I think I shook Heather's hand one time in
Yeah.
passing, and we said hello, but we really have never had that opportunity to connect. And you mentioned her, and I did try to reach out, but she's been so busy, and I know we both have been so busy. But it's
Yeah.
not for lack of trying.
Yeah.
I still would still love to consider her if she's out there right now listening. But like I said, we've been so busy.
I
We've got
kind
a
of
week left.
I think that's Heather's one of the other people.
Yeah.
When you ask me like, who do I,
Yeah.
who do I look up to, or who do I take a little bit of influence
Yeah.
from? Heather's one of them, man. She really stood her ground for something that was happening inside of her school district. Not to get into too much politics,
Yeah.
because I don't particularly have political conversations, not because I'm scared to, but
Sure.
because everyone else ain't gonna like how I fucking feel about it, and I already know it, right?
Right.
But Heather, what I do appreciate is Heather stood her ground, and she answered her calling.
Right.
And that takes a lot of balls in today's climate, when people can cancel you like in a minute's notice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They don't even need 5 minutes, and everything you work to build in this world can be absolutely ruined. And Heather's the kind of woman that doesn't give a shit.
Right.
You know?
It's exactly right. And I've seen that. I've heard a lot of great things about her. And like I said, hopefully I get to meet her next week when I'm down there. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. How about you, man? Let me ask you a question. if you had somebody that you looked up to direction, like, hey, what is this person doing? Or
Yeah.
hey, this guy's doing what I want to be doing. I recently heard somebody say they wanted to be the TJ McCormack of this brand. And I was like, damn, okay. Like nobody's tried to, I want to be the roof poppy of this, I'm not that cool. But what is it? Who
Yeah.
is it for you? What
Well, there's a couple of great people out there in our industry that I really look up to, but John Bros is one of those guys. I don't know if you know John Bros from Ugly Roof and MHI Roofing, but that guy is building more roofs than most people could ever imagine in his day to day, and then he's just a good, humble human being, former military. That's the guy that I want to be like when I grow up, and we're the same age, but like every time I hang out with John, I feel like I'm a better person. But then also, if you're talking about celebrities or who I aspire to be like, I aspire to be like Gary Vee. I really like Gary Vaynerchuk a lot. I think a lot like him. And I'm not saying that because I watch his content, it's because we're similar people. But the way that he gets out of his own way and the way that he teaches other people to love one another first, right? But the way that he gives it to them, like you do, you dish it out, right? And if they can take it, they can take it, and usually
Yeah.
they'll end up better because of it. But yeah, those are the two people. Like I'm sure John's watching right now. He's one of my biggest fans as well. But honestly, I don't try to be anything bigger than what I am. I've got 400,000 followers on social now, and I'm still the same person. I still got to pay my bills the same way. I still go home at the end of the day. I'm just busier.
I had one time a year and a half ago, I was doing something, right? I was in the house. I had my fucking roof poppy hat on. I had, my damn license plate said roof poppy on my Audi, right? Like this shit was everywhere. And we came home from being away for the weekend. We left on a Friday, right? Friday morning, we came down to San Antonio for the weekend, came back to Fort Worth, and Monday morning or something like that, and the fucking water was turned off.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, my water was turned off, and I was like, I fucking I'm not I don't have, and my wife was like, "Dave, the water got turned off." And I was like, "Oh shit." And then that's when I realized it wasn't because I didn't pay the water bill, but just like everybody else in this
Right.
world, I have fucking direct deposit, and I have, or what is that shit called? Automatic withdrawal.
Auto
And when
pay.
you're,
Yeah.
yeah, I have to do the same shit. My water gets cut off the same fucking
Right.
way that y'all's water gets cut off. If I don't pay my bill for 7 days, they're going to shut my shit off, and
Yeah.
nobody gets to flush their fucking toilets. My wife was so upset about that.
Yeah.
She was so upset about that.
It's more about you can either grow with your following or your influence, or you can grow out of it. And if you don't stay growing, even in business, right? If you don't grow your business to the next level, then you're just going to be the same business as you always were, and everybody gets tired of the same business. So I've really tried to grow with it instead of and maintain it. It's a lot of work, but really at the end of the day, I just hope to bring more of a positive presence to our industry, because we get a black eye from a lot of bad things. And typically homeowners, business owners, clients know roofers as the bad guy. And before you even get to their house, they're expecting to have a bad experience. And if we can promote a little bit more positivity about what we really are like in our day to day, that's the goal that I wish to achieve.
So you figured out that you want to take your ability to garner attention and to command a presence,
Yeah.
right? And you want to use that to help put attention on the better side of
Right.
the roofing industry.
Yeah, that's the whole reason behind World's Greatest Roofer. It always was the mission behind World's Greatest Roofer was never about me being the world's greatest roofer. It was
Yeah.
always about going out and finding those people in the community who are doing something great for their community or for their company that's different than what everybody else is out there doing, which is promoting a positive image, not doing the drugs, not doing the alcohol, showing up on time, doing what you say you're going to do, and do it right. and that's what people need to see. They don't need to see always the bad, the people going to jail, the drama that we sometimes cause amongst ourselves as peers. But we could definitely be more responsible in the way that we approach it, because we're not the only people watching. Everybody else
Right.
out there is wanting us to fail, because that's what roofers do, is fail.
So see, I don't feel like I have that same perception of
Yeah.
the industry. And maybe I just haven't been in the industry long enough to see. I see the catty stuff. I see the
Right.
drama. I see the
Yeah.
industry, bullshit and
Right.
rumors and we fired this guy from this company and this dude
Right.
doesn't pay and I see it and then I see some other things like I remember the first time I had a brand new crew and they said, well, how much do you pay? And I told them that I paid $85 just to get on the roof. And they were like, well, what do you mean?
Right.
And I said, well, to get on a 8-story 12 pitch or excuse me, a single story 8 pitch, I'm going to pay you $85 just to get on the roof,
Right.
a square. And they were like, Mr. David, that's too much. And I
Yeah.
was like, Mr. George, no, it's not, but
Right.
the truth is I pay for a service and I
Yeah.
expect a certain level of service and dedication. I'm okay for paying that
Yeah.
because the people that don't work for 85 a square starting off aren't the people that I want on my projects anyways.
Sure.
And I even had crews tell me that's too much, like, oh, they pay 65 or 75 in San Antonio. And I'm like, well, then y'all need to come work for me, right? Like it is what it is. I'm going to pay you more because but I'm also going to expect,
Yeah. Yeah.
what other people's upgrade is my bare minimum.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we're a little different, right?
Sure.
But let me ask you a question, TJ, because I know we're getting late and I know you've got the baby and stuff there at the house, but and I want to make sure that you have time to spend with mom and your daughter, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really important to me as well. I got to ask you, what is it that people should expect in Houston in a
Yeah.
week?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, you're going to be one of our most influential people there. No, everybody there is going to be, Silveria Garcia Duran.
I love Sil. Is she going?
Yeah, she's one of the speakers as well.
Okay.
I chose Sil because not just because of Sil, but I really love the way that she's branding herself in the higher end clientele that she's working together with
Very
Red Bottom
smart.
Roofing.
Very smart.
Yeah, driving a Porsche to a roof inspection, that's great.
That takes balls.
I want to do that.
That takes balls.
But between you, Kyle Peterson, Silveria, and then today Joshua Keith said yes that he's going to be there with you.
Nice.
So I love Josh. Like, Josh is a big, huge teddy bear. That dude's something else, man.
He's massive,
but he's smarter than a whip, and he's
Yeah.
somebody that I want on the stage with us that's promoting something great about our industry, and he's one of those guys. We're going to be talking about sales, marketing processes. It's not going to be a lot of fluff. Like, we really have done our homework of making sure that the content that roofers will get is roofing content. And they're not going to walk away thinking like they just got told a story. Now, we want to make sure that people, learn something. They take something tangible home with them today that they can implement into their strategy tomorrow. And we're going to do it with help to people like yourself that come from real world situations in the real world down there in South Texas.
I like it, man. I definitely like that. Look, so I'm excited to be in Houston and to be a part of this show and to help number one, my local communities, right? Because I say Texas, even though I don't do roofing in Houston. I have a lot of friends that do roofing in Houston. I have crews that travel from Houston to Austin and San Antonio to work with me. And I have a lot of love for a lot of contractors, just kind of all across Texas as a whole. So I have a lot of pride in being able to have the opportunity to travel over to Houston and to help out
Right.
with this specifically. I'm really excited for that, and I'm actually
excited.
really Yeah, man, I'm really grateful that you guys decided to put Houston on the path, bro. I'm
Yeah.
definitely excited about that. I think maybe we should think about Austin next year or
Yeah.
something like that. Austin's a pretty happening city.
Let me tell you, I think one of our goals of next year is that we're doing 6 right now to see what it's like
Sure.
and how it goes. Because as you know, events have been kind of dwindling. I know firsthand from One Industry, One Model last year that attendance was down, and even in some of our events that we went to this winter.
Mhm.
Maybe people are learning differently now, and maybe we need to figure that out. But next year, it's a goal to hopefully have 12 of these, one each month, in a different location, and we're already working on that.
When is somebody gonna figure out that we could not do it on a location and we can just do it live on social media like this? When is that? When is somebody gonna figure out, hey, how do I get 12 speakers on a 3 hours a live podcast?
I did it last year. I did
Yeah.
12 speakers in 12 hours, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we had many millions of people watch content from that, either from the live broadcast. But I would do it differently this time. Every hour I would end the live and restart it again, so that way people could take that content and break it up, because it was
Yeah.
a 12-hour live straight,
Ooh,
which made
shit.
for it makes hard for trying to find the content inside there.
What kind of fucking flash drive did y'all have for
Oh,
all that video?
we did it on StreamYard, like you're doing
Oh
here.
no, did
And
you really?
Ty Backer was the one that filmed it. And
Wow.
it's a really great idea, and we did it well, but it would just need some cleanup. And we could get people to watch it here live. The people want to watch live right now, in the moment, point of view. They want to be able to ask questions. They want to be in. And if you set it up to where they know that you're going to come on live at a certain time once a
Mhm.
week, or you're going to have this event, people will sign up. And if it's on Facebook or YouTube, it's free 99. And those people that can't come out of wherever they are right now can get an education from you, even though you can't, or they can't be physically with you.
Yeah. Man,
So
I love that, dude. I really appreciate that's a good little kind of a nugget there, just in and of itself, right? Is the ability to, like you said, if you can be consistent
yeah.
and people can count on you being there, then they'll show up to your shit,
Yeah, they're going to
right?
show up, especially if you're somebody that speaks well, that's educated in the topic, and doesn't try to come off as somebody better than somebody else, right? That's the problem a lot of times, is that we feel like we're less than somebody instead of equal to. um,
Yeah.
and that hurts me when I feel like I'm less than a person that I'm learning from.
Yeah. Bro, so I know a lot of people are going to be commenting. They're going to be, asking about what's going on in Houston. I already see a little bit,
Yeah,
what's going on this Houston. What's here? What are we doing?
yeah,
I want to post some links inside of the chat here
yeah,
in the video description, or in the video below. But if people want to learn more about building themselves into a reputable brand or
yeah,
marketing, where bro, I
yeah.
100% you are the subject matter expert for that. How do people get in touch with you?
They can go to our website, roofer.com, or just hit me on the email. That's easiest, right? TJ at roofer, ROOFR, just like it says on the shirt.
Mhm.
And email me. And one of my initiatives, or not my initiatives, one of Roofer's initiatives, and our CEO Richard is a third generation roofer, right? Been
Mhm.
roofing his entire life. He really wants me out there, doing as much educating as I can, and doing it for free if needed, to make sure that people are educated properly.
Yeah.
And I'm wanting to get on roofs with people all over the country. For example, last week I did that EuroShield build, right?
Mhm.
That EuroShield build in total so far, 1 week out, has had just over 500,000 people watch it. During the live
Wow.
broadcast, we had 5,000 people watch the live. Now, if you're out on a roof every day doing something like that, imagine if that's your roofing company or your product or whatever. And I encourage a lot of you to go out and do it yourself. You don't need me to come out. Of course, I'd love to and I want to. Please call me out. I'll do all your content for you. But just turn the camera on. And it doesn't have to be pointing at you. It can be pointing the other way too.
So let me ask you another question, because I just saw Fernando Escamilla jump into the live here, and this is a family member of the family that I use for all of my fucking roofs all across Texas.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I really encourage my crew, David, is, so my superintendent, the guy that runs all of my crews, is a son of this family, and his name is David. And I tell David all the time, you have to make more content while you're up on the roof, dude. Like, you got to do it for me, do it for us, right? Like, whatever the case may be, just do it. Is that something? Would you encourage the crews also? Like, this is not, content creation isn't just monetizable for salespeople or for business owners, but these crew guys, the guys that are on the shingle crews, the tear off crews, the whatever they are, they can make content and brand themselves and make themselves more attractive to roofing contractors.
Well, look at there's Carlos Morales, right? Carlos is somebody that not a lot of people have known about unless you're watching TikTok right now.
TikTok. Yeah.
And Carlos is not even a crew lead. He's just on a crew and he wears a GoPro every day he goes to work. Wow. And he's got, in just the past year, over 850,000 followers just by producing content of him every single day building a roofing system somewhere as a subcontractor. And that guy is making so much money, but from not just from TikTok, but from YouTube and then also Facebook Reels. And I've had an opportunity to talk with him and learn a little bit about his story. And it's the American, or not just the American dream. It's any person's dream out there right now that's on their phone. Instead of just looking at it, they're making money from it.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, it's the easiest way in the world to make money if you could figure out how to do it, right? Attention is that's the number one highest rated exchangeable asset in the world right now, is somebody's attention.
You buy it on the stock market.
Dude, and that's a whole nother conversation. I always like to remind people, if you're not charging for the product, you are the product, right? So it's like we could
do a conspiracy about the social media one day too.
Put the oil hats on and talk about that one, dude. I just got to make sure that I burn off my fingerprints first, so Mark can't swat me. But hey, listen, TJ, bro, it has been great rapping with you, dude. I definitely love that you took up jam with us and have this conversation, brother. I definitely appreciate you being on the show. Guys, folks, absolutely. Guys, you have an opportunity this next week to get down to Houston and to be a part of this show that TJ has created, this traveling circus of education and entertainment that is going to be bringing real digestible shit to roofing contractors all across the country. I encourage you in any one of the show locations to find out where that's going to be so that you guys can get involved. As always, it's been great rapping with you. I'm your boy, Dave, the Roof Poppy, your favorite roofer's favorite roofer, and definitely appreciate you guys hanging out and vibing with us tonight. I gotta go.